My name is Lacey, and I read the book called Hannah by Hannah Westberg. It's about a young teenage daughter who goes through a depression and succeeds to overcome it over time. Many teenagers go through a depression, and in the end, it sometimes turns out fatal. In the beginning, Hannah's mother met her first husband at an AA meeting. His name was George. They had one child named Nevada. George abused her brother and her mom when Nevada was young. Her mother soon divorced George and met her second husband, Hannah's dad. He adopted Nevada. Nevada was 7 when her sister Sarah was born. 3 years later, Rachel was born. Then 2 years after that, Hannah was born. Being so overworked, Hannah's mom got depressed and became an alcoholic again. The parents divorced when Hannah was 3 or 4. The kids always stuck around for Hannah whenever she needed it. After the divorce, Hannah and the siblings stayed with the grandparents because of her mother's mental illness. After a while, her father demanded custody after finding the access to her mom's psychiatric files. The dad soon got full custody and Hannah only got to visit her mom when she wasn't in the hospital. Her dad began dating a lady named Carol who's very strict and wasn't very fond of Hannah. The two fought often and Carol left, but eventually came back. Hannah had a solo in a song when she was in grade school and was very nervous before she sang. So she decided to take some pills that she found. It relaxed her, so she then began to keep taking them because she liked the feeling of it. She stole medications from her depressed dad, ADD sister, also her stepmother, in a lot of pain. She was sent to the hospital quite often for overdosing and started to rely on cutting, a term kids use to hurt themselves or stop the suffering. She started cutting her wrists and then moved to her thighs. She was sent to a camp to help her overcome her tragedy, where she met her best friend going through the same kind of stuff. She slowly gets better at the camp and is ready to come home, but she started to be depressed about her best friend leaving also. When she returned home, she began doing it again and ended up in the hospital. Then, when her dad and stepmom kicked her out of the house because they didn't want the others to be around that, she had to learn to be on her own. She had to find a job in an apartment and had to be able to learn how to do it on her own without relying on others. I think Hannah was very lucky to overcome her problem. I think depressed kids should always find help so it doesn't end up fatal. In Hannah's case, she got lucky and learned how to survive on her own, but others die all the time from depression.